my episodes, it is a little delayed before it gets released. So to be honest, we're recording this right after Super Bowl weekend.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking about this because what was super interesting to me. So of course, everyone, it's no secret, I was pulling for the Rams because I worked with Stafford for that whole year.
Oh, so
I wanted to see I wanted to see Stafford win one.
I did want to see him. He's a great quarterback.
And Stafford is, I believe he's like 1 year younger than me. So it's kind of showing my age or dating me a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I was like, Sean McVay, he's a super young coach. So I looked it up and I was like, man, this guy's 36. I'm going to be 36 this year. I'm thinking like, how in the world, like I'm just thinking, taking a team to the Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl at age 36. Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, granted, you had a lot of success before this. Yeah. But coaching has nothing to do with age. Because, like, if you think about it, some of the players on the Rams, I mean, very few of them, but some of them are older than him.
Well, and he's Whitworth is 40.
Yeah, he's the oldest player. NFL now, yeah. So, like, all of that, you know, like, when you think about coaching, because even for you, I'm sure that you're helping, or you know, you at least give advice to maybe people that are just finishing college, or, you know, some of the players that you play with. Yeah. And coaching can come from anybody, I think, as long as you kind of work together in that collaborative approach. And then that same thing with work, right? Because there's a lot of times that the manager or whoever, I mean, as you get older, they might be younger than you, right? Yeah. And then it's like, how do you navigate this, right? But I think if you take the same approach as what you mentioned, like being either the person being coached or from the coach or mentor's perspective, it's really about trying to make sure that you guys are working together to achieve some type of outcome or goal. Yeah,
I remember I was watching after the Super Bowl, Whitworth talked to the broadcasters or whatever, and then he mentioned like working with Sean McVay and like him helping Sean McVay helping Whitworth, and then Whitworth say like, and then I would help him out. And they were like, what do you mean, you're helping the coach? Like, what do you, like, they've never heard that before, right? And they're like, he's a young coach. He's the first time he's like head coach, and like he always asks Whitworth questions like, how do I connect to the guys better? What do we focus on? Like, and he just wants to learn as a coach. He's just super, his work ethic's there. Open-minded too. So like, people don't think that. It's all, they just think age and wisdom, and it's different, you know? So
there's a lot of things, and you know, none of this was planned, but there's so many things that we can go off of with some life lessons, and that was just on one aspect of, you know, like working with a team, and we'll kind of bring it back to that.
And even like, sorry to interrupt you, like, but even like you said before, and we're talking about like playing overseas, you know, I even added on my resume, like, I don't even know how much weight it would carry, but like being able to communicate and work with like all these different people from different countries. Like trying to stress that on a resume. I don't know how much weight it pulls, but like I've played with people from like 20 different countries. And they all speak different language, you know what I mean? And they all think and have different, like, process things differently because of the culture they grew up in. And like having to change and like motivate someone differently on that as well is very interesting.
That's super interesting, because like even for us, you know, we don't have those kind of experiences, right? That you had through professional sports. And if you think about it, like, that kind of relates to any environment, because you're going to have people with all different backgrounds and experiences that you may or may not be able to relate with, right? And I think we talked about it the first episode, like when you went up there, you know, it kind of, even for you, right? Little culture shock, like, whoa, this is way different from Hawaii, obviously. But then all of the other people too, even if they're from European countries, they're probably feeling similar ways, right? I mean, if you think about it, even if we went to like, California is pretty similar to Hawaii, you know, but even when you go up there, sometimes when you talk to people, the experiences or the backgrounds are just different. So it's how do you actually make that not become an obstacle, right? To actually work together. And when you put something like, I've worked with or had to work with 20 different people from different countries around the world. That, to me, that is a lot of life experience that not too many of us get.
It's tough because, this is a very blunt answer, but whenever we're, especially at UH, and I try and, it's not something I implement on the team, but something I always thought of and focus on, like, as soon as we enter the gym, it's all about volleyball. You know, everyone has something going on with their lives. Everyone has something going wrong, something with their family, something with their girlfriend, something with school. Everyone has stress outside of volleyball or outside of work. And not letting that affect your game or affect practice or affect your attitude to a teammate or a coworker is super important. I think that's super important. I don't know if that's just like, I don't know, selfish or blunt. I don't know what the word is. You know what I mean? But you know, like, you can't come to work angry, and you definitely can't take something out on a coworker or a teammate that happened to you off the court, right? And like, obviously, as a coach, you want to stress that too, because you're trying to push them every day. You're trying to push them every day. And if one person starts break down crying because of something that happened off the court, how are you supposed to know? First of all, we need to address that coming in maybe, but also like we need to maybe leave that at the door. Like this gym is a temple, it's a sanctuary, and when we're in here, it's all about volleyball. Like, just that goes for everything, I think. You know.
No, that's a really good point. And I think definitely, you know, sports, it does help you do that, I think, because, you know, there's a lot of things that affect emotions or mood or whatever, but you kind of learn how to like just hone in on what you're doing in the moment and not let the external things or outside things affect you too much, right? You know, everyone's human, so it's going to affect you to some aspect, but kind of almost like compartmentalizing, like, okay, I'm at practice, I'm going to play now, let's just focus in on putting in the work here, right? Instead of having all these other things. And for me too, you know, I didn't play in college sports or anything like that, but even to this day, I think that comes from sports, because like growing up, when you go to practice, it's like, okay, let's just focus on practice, you know? I'm not thinking about, I mean, maybe sometimes you might be, but I'm not thinking about homework. I'm not thinking about all this other stuff. It's like, okay, if you're doing something, then you just kind of block out everything else, right? So that's definitely something that I think I would agree sports is very good at teaching you how to like compartmentalize these areas of your life.
I think it's important, and I think we didn't say, but it could be inconsiderate to like, but that's not saying we don't care about what's going on at home and we don't care about your other life, but there's so many different ways to say it, like being in the moment, staying in the moment kind of thing, or you know, stuff like that. There's so many different ways, just focusing on right now. I think that's super important. That's something that you have to learn.
No, for sure. And there's a lot of things that I think this is good when you reflect on it, even when athletes, I would say. So anyone listening to this episode, you know, just try to think about some of these things that you do automatically, I guess, when you're training for sports, because the whole goal is to not only apply these lessons to sports, right, but to apply it to all aspects of your life, even if that's school, even if that's personal, you know, family, friends, whoever, and whatever goals that you're working towards too, right? Like socially or everything else that you're working towards. So I think if we apply a lot of these lessons, that's when we can really take the same formula. And I know a lot of athletes have come on and talked about this, but really you take that same formula that kind of helped you to navigate to be successful, and you apply it to a different vehicle or different means, and it's gonna work. Really all of the same things you'll go through, it's just in different obstacles or experiences, and then you'll eventually hopefully reach that level of success.
It's definitely true. I mean, we talked about it last time, just like, how do you start on a team? You put in more hours than your teammate. How do you beat a team? You put in more hours than they do to beat them. It's all hours. And when you go to work, it's like, it's tough because it is work, and work, you know, you want to be with your family, you want to go play volleyball or something, but but putting in that extra hours is going to put you over your coworker. Putting in that extra hours is going to make you more successful at completing this task or being more prepared for the next day. It's just all preparation, and just learning that is huge, because you get people, you know, we can get into a whole nother topic about like, you know, everyone wants a shortcut to success. Everyone does. Whether it's an athlete, a businessman, anything, you know, they want to find they want to be the next person that purchased Bitcoin or Dogecoin or something and make $1 million. And that all that investment is good, but like they just want a shortcut to success, into life, you know, and that there's always going to be people like that. But there's like, the formula has always been there since your parents, your grandparents, like whoever works hardest is gonna get it and deserve it. So
with anything, there's, I mean, and you know, you could take the gamble and just hope for the best, and maybe you'll find the shortcut. But we know that there's really no shortcut to all of the things that are great or worth fighting for.
Yeah.
And when you talk about that too, like the time, I definitely agree. Like, it's just like that. You have to put in the time. You have to make sure that you're preparing to be ready for whatever you need to prepare for, right?
Yeah.